Imagine, if you will, blowjobs, general intercourse, and imagine it being between a woman and a horse.
When your gooning gets leaked.
What happens when gooning destroys your online reputation? One such person this happened to was Atriarch, whose accidental leak was perhaps the most infamous in this entire video. It was an otherwise ordinary Monday in late January 2023 when this story unfolds. Atriarch was in the middle of a live stream when his open tabs popped up on his screen for literally a frame or two at most. It's very likely that given the fact it wasn't on his screen for even a second, Atriarch didn't know at the time that he had just contributed to the most humiliating and damaging moment of his entire career.
Why are you using the computer that you use for work-related activities streaming and you want to goon at the same time? You want to use that same device to goon. That doesn't even make sense. How down bad do you have to be to the point where you can't just go on your bed and just use your phone or any other device?
Good work back there. The syndicate took a serious...
Where?
What time is it where I am?
Oh my god. That was literally a frame. Yo.
What time is it PST?
Hold it. Run that back.
What time is it where I am?
Enhanced section A6.
Eagle-eyed viewers analysed the frame and quickly unearthed a shocking discovery. Atriarch had been accessing a deepfake porn site. Just for reference, in case there's anyone who's watching this that doesn't know what a deepfake is, it's essentially when you digitally superimpose the face and features of one person onto another. So in a lot of cases, people take the likeness of young, attractive female celebrities and put them onto a porn actress.
Bro, there's levels to gooning. Hearing that that's an option or that's something people do makes me realize how deep certain people are. Like, I'm not an advocate of gooning. I don't think you should do it. But if you are, don't get too attached to this. That's when it becomes a problem. If you're going out of your way to use sites that will alter the image of a star to someone you know, that's when you know you're way too deep in. You're actually addicted and you need real help. You need to actually get therapy.
To make it look like what's happening to them is actually happening to the female celebrity instead. This means that deepfakes lack the consent of the person who's having their likeness taken. With the rise of AI, it's easier and easier to make this kind of content.
Y'all think someone did this of me? Hopefully not.
Which is posing an ever-growing problem for the victims, who are largely young, attractive female celebrities. And in the case of Atriarch, this is where things get even worse. You see, Atriarch is a very large streamer. Today, even after his earth-shattering scandal, he still has a combined 1.25 million followers between his Twitch and YouTube. When this was going down, he was closely associated with some of the largest names in live streaming, such as Ludwig. You might remember me mentioning Ludwig in my recent video about when alcohol ruins your career, but Ludwig is one of the most well-connected content creators on the entire internet. He has a lot of friends, and even a couple of enemies. And he has a girlfriend known as Cutie Cinderella, who in her own right is extremely popular, and she too is close friends with a lot of the largest streamers, particularly a lot of the largest female streamers on the internet. So you might be wondering to yourself, why am I even bringing her name up? Well, as it turns out, Cutie Cinderella, the girlfriend of one of Atriarch's closest friends, actually had deepfakes of herself on this website.
Imagine logging into your friend's phone or clicking on the browser and then you see like a deepfake AI of your girlfriend in his phone. Like, we gotta fight after that. That is not okay. And I'm pretty sure Atriarch has a girlfriend himself. I don't know how down bad you have to be to deepfake your friend's girlfriend. That's just disgusting.
Other notable female streamers on the site included Pokimane, Maya Higa, and Sweet Anita. This man had a gooning session to the women that were essentially the closest thing he had to female colleagues. Embarrassing doesn't even cut it. Shortly after this was all exposed, Atriarch would come out on stream with his wife by his side.
I thought that was his girlfriend. That's his wife. Would y'all consider that cheating? That's just so weird, bro. I don't think it's cheating, but I think it's just weird. I feel like it's some shit that I can't forgive too quick. Yo, I'm just thinking, imagine if I had a wife and she was gooning to my like streamer friends. Oh, no. We might have to divorce after that. I'm sorry. You're just too deep in.
To deeply apologize and try to explain his side of the story. He would reveal that he only accessed the site one time while his wife was out of town, and he had the receipt to prove that he purchased access to the site the very same day he accidentally leaked it. After he was done, he had just forgotten to close the tab.
I don't know. I just clicked the fucking link at 2 a.m. and The morals didn't catch up to me, and I'm sorry. I really fucking am.
And to many people, that's where they thought the story ended. But it does in fact go on. Ever since this incident, Atriarch has been on the straight and narrow, and you can tell that he's genuinely tried to make amends for his actions. He's donated a lot of his money, in excess of $100,000, to try and get deepfake sites taken down.
Y'all sure he wasn't using it in support of it? I don't know, someone has to track that money for me to believe it. If anything, he probably bought 25% of the website himself.
And he has actually succeeded in large parts. According to sources I could find, he's helped take down hundreds of them. In his apology, he does come out to appear genuinely remorseful, and so a lot of people have since accepted that perhaps in a moment of weakness, he made a mistake that will haunt him until his dying day. But given that he's made genuine efforts to make up for what he's done, he's been able to recover a large portion of his audience. If you take a look at his social blade, you'll see a clear story unfold. His leak happened at the tail end of January, so his channel wasn't really affected until February 2023.
The thought of people leaving you because you have a gooning obsession is crazy. Obviously, I know it's deeper than that, but look at the month prior. He was on a roll.
You can see that he loses subscribers and his views flatline. But several months later, after he put in the work to make amends, his channel saw a second wind, and today he's once more growing. It's impossible to say what his relationship is like with QC and the other female streamers today, but she did say at the time that their relationship was irreparable.
I'm the last person who wants to dislike him. He is one of my boyfriend's best friends. He has only ever been so kind to me. I love spending time around.
He loves spending time around you and when you're not there. He's definitely kind to you. I don't know if you want someone that kind to you, but just beware.
Him. If anything, I'm ostracizing myself more from my boyfriend's friends because now I don't want to be around him. I don't want to hate this guy. I really don't. I've loved him for years at this point. I'm devastated, and it's like, what do you want me to do though? Like, how do you move on from that? I don't know. And maybe 8 months from now, you know, emotions settle and something, but I don't see it happening. It's just like, I just can't believe the shit that it's caused.
But this is
Do y'all think y'all could be around someone who beat they shit to you? I don't know. If I have a partner, I don't think I could be around you. No. Because now I know your true intentions. Bro, and you have a wife, not even a girlfriend. This is someone who you spent the last couple years of your life talking to, developing a bond with. I don't know. It's just weird.
one case where Gooning almost ended a thriving online career, but due to a genuine effort to make amends, it was able to be salvaged. I'm genuinely curious to hear your guys' thoughts on the situation, so let me know down below in the comments section, because it's definitely divided fans. So yeah, express your thoughts on the situation, or to be honest, any of the stories we have today down in the comments. But of course, Atriarch is not the only person who's ever been exposed for gooning while live. We still have plenty of cases to get to, such as someone who was caught gooning to NSFW horse and lolly content.
Horse? My boy Horse. Honestly, bro, I feel like there's certain people whose like sexual addictions are so terrible, I don't want them to be around any woman at all. I don't want them to be around minors. I don't want them to be around women. Anybody with the addiction to horse content, you need help.
And a prominent male streamer that had old OnlyFans videos of them leak.
Wait, he was watching sketch videos as well? I think we all were, but I'm trolling, but wow.
But for now, it's time to turn to the dark side. If you're like me, you would have watched Drama Alert religiously back in 2016.
Yeah?
The schisms, the feuds, the betrayals, it all had such a je ne sais quoi. And one such incident that Keem reported on back then, within a video that has since been seen by more than 1 million people, included DSP, commonly known online as Darkside Phil, who was caught jerking the gherkin while live on stream. What appears to have happened is that he set up a live stream to record himself gaming. And if you've ever watched a live stream before, you might be aware that this happens quite a lot. You'll get the notification that one's starting, you'll click on the live stream, and you'll be greeted to, you know, some sort of graphic saying, stream starting momentarily. It's gonna start in a few.
Y'all ever see old YouTube and think to yourself, yo bro, anybody could have made it in this era? Cause that's how I feel. Back then, niggas was finding anything funny. You didn't even need to commentate on video games. So long as you play the video game, you're gonna get a subscription.
Minutes. And this is just a way to get everyone into the live stream.
Okay, which YouTubers do y'all think like their jokes still hold? To me, that YouTuber is Dashy. I really like Nigga Higa. Smosh is cool. I'm gonna go ahead and say this as well. Vine is not funny. For the time being, it was the shit. Vine isn't funny. Not every content creator is funny, and that's okay. Not every content creator has to be funny.
So that when the stream is ready, it can begin with a full audience. Well, in DSP's case, he did not realize that his camera was on and recording him. And for whatever reason, he decided that then would be the perfect time for a cheeky pre-stream wank. Need I say any more? It was only after he had finished that he realized that the camera was on the entire time.
Oh, the camera's on. The camera's been on the whole time, huh? I don't even know.
This is the face of a man who has just realized that he's whacked his gack in front of his entire audience. Let me just say that I really hope that he washed his hands before he picked up his controller to start gaming. DSP had around 200,000 subscribers at the time, and he would never see 300,000. It seems as though he essentially plateaued in growth around—
I'm sorry, that means he just sucks ass. If beating your meat is the reason why you fall off, then you were never hilarious to begin with. Like, obviously, I feel like it'll affect your audience, especially the younger ones maybe, but I feel like if gooning is the reason why your career plateaus, then you were never big to begin with.
this time. And if you're a long-time viewer of his content, you'd know that realistically, him getting caught with his pants quite literally down was not the main reason this happened. Let's Plays are essentially dead in the water today. His content has not evolved with the times. And that's not to say anything of his reputation outside of this incident. On his very own wiki, I found that people call him a hypocrite, a liar, a man-child, and even the cancer of gaming. Which is just a fantastic moniker to don. But let's be very honest with ourselves, getting caught choking the chimp while live definitely didn't do him any favors. But from chimps to horses, the words that you're about to hear come out of my mouth were not even fathomable before February 2024, because that's when the infamous Vorch leaks happened. If you don't know what I'm talking about, dear viewer, you're in for a ride.
Vosh. Ugly ass name.
So you're probably wondering to yourself, who is Vorch? Well, he's a left-wing political streamer closely associated with Destiny.
I hate political content creators. The reason why I hate political streamers is because they'll say some shit that's like, you know what? I agree with that. And then they'll have a take that's literally fucking dog shit. And it makes you question their entire character.
According to an article by The Independent, he appeared on Destiny streams from time to time, and he was encouraged by Destiny's audience to make his own channel. And so he did, cultivating a fastly growing audience, with him trying to appeal to white men that often felt disconnected from standard left-wing content creators who are usually soy-pilled, woke, and unmasculine. Vorch's growth, you'll see, was fairly consistent, with him achieving view counts of 5 to 6 million per month, essentially every month. But then you'll notice a sharp drop-off in February 2024.
What could he have possibly done to go down this much?
And the reason why can be traced back to an infamous livestream. Vorch seems to be looking up men's fashion, and then he right-clicks on one of the images, and so opens up
Let me find out there's a file called cheese pizza.
a folder on his desktop for his entire audience to see. A folder titled To Be Sorted, and a folder that contains swaths and waves and dozens of images of not safe for work pornography. Now, for very obvious reasons, I will not be able to show you the contents of this folder. It is quite literally pornography. However, imagine, if you will, blowjobs, general intercourse, and the like. And imagine it being between a woman and a horse.
Aside from him having that content, the thought of women out there filming content where they're getting in front of horses to do the nasty thing, that sounds insane. Another thing, isn't that dirty? Like, not even necessarily dirty in that way. Can't you get infections? And I highly doubt they're making horse-sized condoms. So why are y'all doing it?
And that is some of what showed up on Vorch's desktop. And to make matters even worse, there was lolly sprinkled in there too.
You can see this is an example of the kind of structure that I'm referring
I want to see this man's reaction. Oh my goodness.
to.
Now, according to my
Another thing, do you know how utterly down bad you have to be to save corn? I don't know about y'all, but anytime I've ever decided to watch any adult material, I never thought to myself, let me save this. You have to be so down bad to decide, let me go ahead and download this and save it for later.
research, I found a few comments that said that Vorch has spoken about horses in this manner in the past, so the fact that horse porn showed up on his PC wasn't the most shocking thing to happen that day. The lolly, though, needed some answers, and within his response video, Vorch said that he simply didn't know. He argued that art is up for interpretation, and when scanning it over for the brief moment,
art is up to interpretation? Really? You think people are that naive? You see a drawing that obviously looks like a child, then it's a fucking child. It's that simple. That's what's disgusting about people that consume content like that. Why are you trying to convince yourself that someone that is literally built like a child, looks like a child, talks like a child, acts like a child, is literally going to a school called middle school, is actually a 90-year-old person? It's just so disgusting.
Before he saved it, he just didn't clock that these images were considered as lolly.
By the next day, I had learned from what felt like the entire goddamn internet that 2 of the images in my folder preview window were actually from a well-known lolicon artist, and therefore definitely intended to be lolly shit.
And that's just the preview, by the way. That's just the preview. I'm just putting that out there.
Which has to be the worst possible way to find out about that sort of thing. Now, obviously, the accusation here isn't just that I had those images saved. That part's true, not really an accusation, but also that I must have known that they were lolicon and saved them because they were lolicon. Now, the obvious and predictable, but nonetheless true response from me is that no, I didn't know that, and that must not have been the impression I got from those 2 drawings, because if I had gotten that impression, then I wouldn't have saved them, you know? I mean, drawings...
So somebody that's a political streamer, you spend all your time searching politics, you read the news, you do all these things, you couldn't decipher a drawing of a child? That's something that's out of your reach?
Or abstractions, and art styles and body proportions vary massively, even for characters that are unambiguously adults. That doesn't mean lolly isn't a thing or a problem. I've bitched about it being a problem like a lot on stream. It just means that carelessly or inattentively failing to notice it isn't exactly impossible. Yeah, I know what some people are going to say, you know, no, you must have known. There's no way you didn't know. And like what am I going to do? Make a fucking evidentiary argument here? You know, like, I'm not putting up the images so we can argue about the pixels or the proportions or whatever. I know fully well that like 99.9% of people who have heard about this drama haven't seen the images, nor do I think those people should go looking for them, obviously. So it's pretty much entirely a take me at my word or don't kind of situation where people are free to lie about the drawings, or, as I've already seen on Twitter, just post other really bad looking shit and say that's what I had in my folder. There's not much I can do about it.
People were posting bad looking shit on Twitter. Like the fact that you didn't load up women getting horse dick, just thrashing them. That's not already crazy. Women on horse action isn't already crazy. What could have been worse than that?
Right. It's all totally unfalsifiable, and people are going to make whatever assumptions and inferences they want to make. All I can really say is that I didn't notice the problem while saving the drawings, the same way a person could fail to notice any element of any drawing if they were careless or inattentive or distracted.
Clearly, this excuse was not going to work for many of his haters, and so after the infamous leaks, he was called not only a zoophile, but also a pedophile. Several large creators such as H3H3, Diesel Patches, and Sensitive Society would give their thoughts on the situation. However, a lot of people surprisingly stood by Vorch. His response video was generally taken very well, actually having a fairly positive like to dislike ratio, all things considered.
I'm gonna tell you why. I think all of these people that like the video consume that type of content. Deadass. It's one thing accepting his apology, it's another thing liking the video. And I think that this video, like lucky for him, spread to the audience that actually support what he does. Cause I can't think of watching an apology of someone talking about the things that they goon to and liking the video.
Just like Atriarch before him, Vorch would lose a substantial chunk of his audience in the initial backlash. However, over the next several months, he was able to win many of them back. Just like Atriarch before him, he's now performing just as well, or maybe even better than he was before the leaks. And just like Atriarch, this—
Bro, is cancel culture still a thing anymore? Is that even really prevalent? I feel like you could recover from anything if you're talented enough. Real talk.
man went through perhaps one of the most embarrassing things to ever happen to anyone on the internet, and was still able to walk out the other side of it with his career intact. His reputation to outsiders is obviously damaged at best. You can't completely come back from something like this. To many people outside of his community, he will forever be known as the guy who's into horse porn and lolly. But now more than a year and a half since his controversy, Vorch is still alive and kicking. Okay, little update. This is a bit of a coincidence, but ever since I wrote, recorded, and edited this video, Vorch has yet again had allegations come his way. A woman known as Sarah Fields, a Republican state delegate, came out on Twitter this past week to share some screenshots of Vorch allegedly inappropriately messaging a minor when he was 23 years old back in 2017. H3H3 has covered this on his channel within a video that has been seen by 400,000 and counting.
Yo, I'm instantly believing this. I didn't even need to see the messages for me to believe this. Anybody that watches and saves women getting piped down by horses, it's hard to trust you for anything. It's hard for me to even want to believe you.
And the tweet now has near enough 1 million views. If these screenshots are legitimate, then it doesn't look good for the folder situation, and people in the comments section are mentioning it once more. So maybe this is the final straw for Vorch. We'll just have to wait and see. On to the quickest story we have. This next one will be discussing the largest name that we have today. Because believe it or not, IShowSpeed had an unfortunate search pop up while live, which was then spread throughout the internet.
Is this the Chica incident? Chica, I wanna...
IShowSpeed is no stranger to having things pop up or out during his streams. If you can remember back to his infamous Chica incident, IShowMeat accidentally exposed himself in front of essentially the
Bro, I deadass felt so guilty for him. I remember seeing that video and then seeing like his face look after it was leaked. You could tell he felt really guilty. Like at the time, I feel like a lot of people memed it, but I know it was really affecting him.
Entire internet. Once you've gone through something like that, I feel like what we're about to discuss won't have as much of an impact on you, even if it is still very embarrassing. To cut to the chase, back in late 2023, while live, he began Googling something. After typing in H and O,
Look, I'm gonna say something, right? I think everyone has searches that nobody would want to be released. Obviously, I don't think your searches are gonna be weird to the point where it's like, hey, get arrested. But I think all of us have searches that are like, if someone knew about this, it would be weird. I would have to discuss what it is. Nothing too crazy, let me emphasize that. But, you know, hey, this isn't crazy. This isn't crazy. There's crazier searches.
the bar autofilled to how to have sex in cyberpunk. Given IShowSpeed's chokehold on the live streaming space, given his immense popularity and clout,
Wait, didn't Speed play Jenny's mod live on stream? He got banned for that, right?
this single frame or two was spotted and then shared by media outlets such as Sportskeeda and Drama Alert, who sounded the alarm bells on Twitter. Do keep in mind that Keemstar would have been 41 years old by this point, and he took the time out of his day to go onto Twitter and tell the masses, tell the world, ring the alarm bells out, that IShowSpeed, who was 18 at the time, had potentially been gooning to cyberpunk.
You know how better off the world would have been without Keemstar? I'm telling you, like, we probably would have had flying cars without Keemstar's bald ass.
Breaking news, guys, our top story tonight: an 18-year-old male might have been wanking. Well, I for one am shocked and appalled. You will be getting a strongly worded letter, Mr. IShowSpeed. Won't somebody please think of the children? And also keep in mind that this does not mean that IShowSpeed actually got off to it. It's
Yo, I think one of the best rebrands ever is Speed's rebrand. For him to go from like such a goofy act to like someone that like people would like actually recommend their children is crazy. He did like a complete 180. I feel like Kai's rebrand has to be something similar to that. I feel like with Speed's rebrand, it was much more natural. Like you could see the maturity growing in him. With Kai, it's more like I woke up one day and this is the new persona that I want to embody. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying with Speed, it just felt much more effortless.
just that he searched up how to do it. Maybe he did that because he thought that it would be funny, or he just wanted to get his character laid. Who knows? The search does seem fairly incriminating upon first glance, but to be honest, it doesn't mean anything. That said, because it was reported on and seen by over 6 million people on Twitter, and because it fit the criteria of this video, I thought that I'd include it. Generally though, I think that this is nothing more than a fat, juicy nothing burger. But if we're discussing the fastest growing live streamers on the internet, then I would be remiss not to mention Sketch, who in
the way the internet was crucifying this man and his only crime was taking D up the butt, crazy.
Summer of 2024 had his life turned around after it was discovered that he had a history in participating in gay OnlyFans content.
What's up, brother? Stretch me out, brother.
So Sketch is a very large live streamer with more than 1.6 million followers on Twitch. However, his blossoming online career suffered a great disturbance in July 2024, after a video by a channel called Pocketbook Philosophy was released into the ether. The video was titled The Real Sketch, The Untold Story of Jamie Ma. Within this video, Pocketbook revealed one of Sketch's deepest, darkest secrets. That being that 2 years prior, before he had started his streaming career, Sketch had participated in homosexual OnlyFans content. But here's the interesting thing. After this all blew up, there was a large portion of people who questioned, what was the problem? Sketch was a legal adult when he made these videos, and he consented to be in them. So therefore, what people were upset about was a grown man consensually participating in adult content. Many people were arguing that there wasn't actually anything wrong with this, and they were accusing anyone who was upset at this of being homophobic. On top of that, some people were mad at Pocketbook. You see, Pocketbook
I feel like if Sketch was black, he would have had a worse treatment. I feel like the way black people joke around with being gay and the way white people joke around with being gay is different.
said that he felt comfortable revealing this information because being LGBT shouldn't be a problem in the modern day. But at the same time, many fans thought that Sketch had been outed for having been in sex work. They felt as though Sketch should have been the one to choose whether or not the public knew about his past. I found a Reddit thread that agreed with this statement. They felt that this just wasn't Pocketbook's place, and that this wasn't journalism. This felt like a needless attack that had detrimental effects to both Sketch's professional.
If y'all found the history of someone's OnlyFans, would y'all expose it? I wouldn't actually. Yeah, now that I really think about it, the fact that you went out of your way to expose someone's past, especially if you know it'll be that damaging and they're trying to rebrand, that's a little weird to me.
And personal life. I do agree that a lot of people that were negatively reacting to this were probably just being homophobic. That said, I feel as though no matter who it was, if there was someone in Twitch's elite, their 0.1%, that had any sort of pornographic video of them leaked, it would be the subject of intense online discourse and scrutiny. But obviously, if the content is LGBT, it's only naturally going to see more hate. Sketch would eventually respond to the murmurs, coming completely clean and saying this.
I did not have sexual relations with that man. I'm just kidding. I did. Yeah, that was me. I f***ed up. I won't do it again. I'm just kidding. Well, I am dead serious about not doing it again. That was a dark time. Rough time.
But as has been a fairly common theme in this video, Sketch would not see his career end because of the controversy. He's still a very popular creator.
I'm pretty sure that was his most viewed stream.
Albeit, if you take a look at his social blade, you'll notice that his growth was severely impacted. Maybe this is just a coincidence and it was always going to slow down, but after July 2024, Sketch couldn't continue his exponential growth. While this revelation didn't end his career, it certainly impacted it.
I feel like with that, I think more parents were hesitant to make their children watch Sketch, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, YouTube, that does conclude when your gooning gets leaked. Moral of the story, if you're gonna goon in private. And don't goon the crazy things, all right? Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what your 2 cents about any of these content creators are. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, check out the gaming channel, all that good stuff. Boxer for life. Love y'all.